Hey everybody. Okay, here's the deal. I got married at the age of 23, and I've been a widow for more than 10 years now. And I was in two long term relationships after that. So the dating scene wasn't a real big part of my life for many, many years. Well, at the age of 43, I find myself knee deep, smack dab in the middle of the dating scene. And I don't like I kind of find myself at a loss with all the different rules of dating these days. Where do you meet people? Who pays? And the different types of relationships and dating can be confusing. So the purpose of this video blog is to discuss dating and relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to interview people who are in these situations. I want to interview my single friends, my married friends, and my friends who are in committed relationships, to get their take on relationships today. For my married friends, I want to know how they knew that their spouse was the one, how they knew that that person was the person they want to spend the rest of their lives with. And also, how much work is it really to keep the relationship going, to keep it healthy, and to keep it strong? For my single friends, I want to know how they feel about being single. And where do they see themselves in the future? Do they see themselves in a committed relationship, or do they see themselves being single for the rest of their lives? And of course, much, much more. I want to talk about so much more. But I want this to be a mutually beneficial arrangement. I want your input as much as I want to show and tell you. I want us to be able to advise each other, learn from each other, laugh with each other, laugh at each other, because I know I got some stories for you. I want your stories also. I want your sad stories. I want your funny stories. And in the end, hopefully we can all be entertained and learn a little bit from each other at the same time. So hopefully you'll watch my videos, and if you want to do more than just watch, if you want to participate, please hit me up at datingdiva7@yahoo.com. That's datingdiva7 at yahoo.com. Sorry. Submit your stories, your questions, give advice, ask for advice, or schedule an interview so I can ask you these questions that I'm getting ready to answer for you. So I'm looking forward to being your dating diva, and hopefully you'll stay tuned. Now, like I said, I'm going to answer these questions for the singles, at least, so you have an idea of what's to come. Have you ever been married or in a long-term relationship? I answered that question right off the bat. I was married for 10 years. I was a military spouse. My husband was a Marine. We weren't always stationed in the same place at the same time. We weren't always in the same state. So that made being married very difficult. But there were definitely good parts of it too. And I have been in 3 long-term relationships, one before I was married and 2 after. So I've had both. How do you feel about marriage? I I love love, so I'm a hopeless romantic. I love the idea of marriage. I love the idea of being in a committed relationship. So I would love to see myself there, again. Are you looking for that kind of relationship again? Yes, obviously. What did you appreciate about that relationship? The thing about being married or in a committed relationship is you have that security blanket. You have that person that you come home to, that you can bitch and complain to, that you can just hold their hand. That person you're going to grow old with. Just, that security blanket. You want that. You want that. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. What do you dislike about that type of relationship? Being single, not really having anybody to answer to right now. It's exactly that. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want it, and not have to worry about, asking if it was okay. Can I go out with my friends tonight? Or, I'm going to stay late at work, even, any of that. So that's the good part about being single. I don't really have to answer to somebody. But that's a part of being in a relationship, is compromise, right? So, do you believe in soulmates? Definitely. I do believe in soulmates. But I don't necessarily believe that your soulmate is the person that you're married to or the person that you're in a relationship with. I think your soulmate can be anybody that you know, can be your best friend, could be your sister. If you just have this connection with somebody, you have this vibe where you know everything about that person, you share everything with that person, you just have this connection. That person can be your soulmate. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person that you're married to, but that's just my opinion, of course. um, do you date? Yes, I do date. um, well, see, that's the thing, the definition of dating, and we're going to get into that too. The definition of dating: when you're dating, are you in a relationship? Are you considered a couple? Or are you just dating and can date other people? That's some of the confusion. Yes, I do date. It hasn't been going very well lately, and that's why I'm here. So, do you use internet dating? Yeah. The past few guys I've met, I have met online, and although they may be nice guys, there just wasn't either a connection with us, no chemistry, or a couple of them that turned out to be jerks. So that's just the chance you take in all kinds of dating, I guess. Where do you meet people? I have people that say you meet single guys at church. All the guys I know at church are married, so I'm not going to meet any guys at church. They're all married or dating or in relationships. Um, Bars and clubs, that's not really my scene, so that would not work for me. I do play softball, and that's really where I figured I would meet somebody, is at the softball field playing softball. And that's happened once, but he was a jerk. But that was kind of, I saw that coming. But other than that, I haven't really met anybody worth dating at the softball fields. Again, a lot of them are married or in some kind of committed relationship, so that hasn't worked either. How do you determine if a person is worthy of dating? A person is worthy of dating if they are secure within themselves. They know who they are. They have a job. They have some goals. Um, they have things to look forward to in life. They have to have their own life. They can't be all up involved in mine. And I don't believe in being all up under somebody either, because I have a lot going on in my life. So I don't want to be all up under you. You do you, I do me, and then we'll do us. That's basically it. So a person is worthy of dating if he has some goals, he has a job. You have to have a job. Doesn't You just have to have a job? Okay, doesn't have to be making six figures or anything like that. Money isn't really a concern. Um, but worthy of dating, you have to have a sense of yourself. You have to be mature. You have to have sincerity about you. Um, and I'm worthy of that. I know I am worthy of that. So, does religion or spirituality play a role in who you date? It does. It really does. You don't have to be somebody that goes to church every week, or goes to Bible study on Wednesday, goes to choir rehearsal on Tuesday, and volunteers in the church every other day. Um, you have to have a spirituality about you. You have to believe in a higher power. You have to know that God exists. You have to have faith. For me, I haven't really had an issue of dating outside of my religion. I grew up Catholic, and I've dated Catholic men before, and now I'm Christian, non-denominational, and I've dated Baptists and Protestants and so forth and so on, but all falls within that Christian group. So I haven't really dated outside my race. I have dated outside my race. I haven't dated outside my religion. Do finances play a role in who you consider? You have to have a job. A financial plan would be great, but you can't be sitting on your butt doing nothing all day. Just ain't gonna work. I have two kids, granted they're older, that I take care of. I don't need to be taking care of no man. So as long as you make your own money, you have your own plan, we're good. Doesn't matter how much money you make. I don't care who makes the most money. I can make more money than you. You can make more money than me. It doesn't really matter as long as you're out there doing you and you're making some money. How do you see yourself in the future? Married, hopefully, God willing. Um, what is the most unusual thing that has happened on a date? This is a funny story. I'm not sure my kids thought it was that funny when I told them about it, but it is pretty funny. Met this guy, first date, internet date, okay. Went to the movies, and I know a lot of people say the movies is not a great first date, but the date was really, I had a really good time until up to that point. We met early, talked, went to the movie, went for a walk afterwards, got some ice cream, talked, did a lot of talking and walking. Very, very nice guy, very intelligent, makes me laugh, all that stuff like that. So I go to kiss him goodnight, and yes, I did kiss him on the first date. And so we're kissing goodnight, and he takes his hand and he wraps it around my throat. And I guess what he thought was his sexy voice, he goes, "Do you like to be choked?" Now, look, I would have been scared if we were not in a totally public place. We were right by the door. People could have walked in and out at any time. So I wasn't scared, but it kind of freaked me out. So I kind of stopped and kind of looked at him and was like, no. Nothing like that has ever happened to me before, and I'm sure nothing like that will ever happen again. But that was the funniest thing that ever happened to me on a date. What is the best thing that has ever happened on a date? My husband was really good about this, and I'm not sure you could really say it's a date because we were married. But after we were married, we didn't see each other a lot because he worked days and I worked evenings. So, when we could see each other, it was great. But I would come home at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, and he'd be at the door, standing at the door when I unlocked it, and he'd be all dressed up, looking good, have dinner with candlelights on the table, um, candlelights, dinner by candlelight on the table, and then after dinner he'd give me a massage or just a nice hot bath, or and he'd actually sit there and listen to my stories, and we'd talk, and that was just great. I mean, because who really wants to listen to their wives' stories about work? Most men don't. But I just happened to work for juvenile detention in Kansas City, Missouri at the time, so some of those stories were really hilarious. So that's one of the best things that ever has ever happened on a date. And again, I'm not sure you can call that a date, but it was really, really nice. That was one of the best things about it. He could be spontaneous like that. Um, what questions, if any, do you have for your married or committed friends? I should say friends that are in a committed relationship, because committed friends might be misconstrued. But I'm going to kind of hold off on that because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of questions as we go along in this blog. So I'm going to leave that question open. But there is another question that I kind of accidentally asked but didn't ask. Um, Kind of a slip of the tongue. But does race play a role in who you date? Does race play a role for you? It doesn't for me. I have dated the spectrum, but it does make a difference to many different people. So I'd like to get your views on that. So that's a question I just added. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully you'll watch my videos and hopefully you'll participate, which would be even better. So hit me up, datingdiva.7, datingdiva.7 at yahoo.com. Thanks.